Where are
Hi,
you?
everyone.
I
Welcome to
am.
111 Day. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you being here.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey!
You guys are here from all over the place. It's amazing.
Woohoo!
Can't wait to see what you do today, and thank you for being creative with us.
Yeah, what kind of projects have we got going on here? See a lot of painting, see some
You
geometry.
can scroll. See
Yeah.
everybody. Frog.
Upper.
Oh, wow. Cool.
See some metallic stuff. I see things
Oh,
just.
Russian egg.
So cool. EC, that's amazing. And Simon.
Simon's here.
And
All
everyone
right.
else. Not everybody has their name posted.
Yeah, a
So
few Canadians.
yeah, that's so cool. Awesome. Well, I guess it's time to get painting. So hi, AC.
Yeah, so nice to
So
see
nice
you.
to see you.
All right. Well, hey,
Yeah.
I'm going to go switch over to my phone in
Okay.
a remote location, and I'll see you guys in a minute.
Okay, see you guys.
Yay.
We'll see what you guys finish in 1 hour and 11 minutes. 111.
Okay. How do I? Oh, yeah.
Flip it and then put it in its place. And then I gotta get out of the screen. I figured out it's that little thing in the corner.
Right. Yep.
Get out of here. So just
Hang on.
it's that thing in the
Yep.
corner.
I'm not ready yet. There it is.
Hey, Jonah, if you could just turn your phone sideways, that'd be great.
Okay. Thank you, Guy. I'll see you in a little bit. All right.
Perfect.
Cool. So nice to see you all.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello, you might have screen lock turned on. You need to wiggle it a little, or maybe
Hello.
because you turned it, which is right, but it's not filling up the camera right.
Okay. Is
There
that
you go.
working?
Oh, that's it.
Nice.
Perfect. That's great.
There you go.
Okay, 31. We've officially got 2 pages.
Woohoo. That's awesome. So nice to see everybody.
It is. It's so great. I'm so glad you guys could join us. It's a perfect thing to do today.
Yeah.
So AC, are you in Canada now or are you where's your location?
I'm in Brussels.
Brussels. Wow.
I moved to Canada for a little bit, but I had an opportunity to move to Europe, so I did it.
That is so cool.
Awesome.
Are you still publishing books or designing books?
No, I miss it, but no, I'm not working in publishing anymore.
Yeah. We're self-publishing a lot now.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Publishing has completely changed
It
from
has.
I got into it. So I think that's one of the reasons I got out of it. It was going too fast for me.
Yeah, for sure. It's not, I mean, it has changed so much.
Yeah.
So is anyone in this feed buried under snow or affected by weather in any kind of way?
Well, I think you all know that I was affected by weather.
Oh, you're in California. Oh, wow. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Not currently.
Yeah. It's really unbelievable. Unimaginable. It's the word I can think of.
Oddly enough, here in Wisconsin, there's no snow.
Well, I can't believe that. Now that is surprising.
Pretty buried.
Yeah.
I see grass out my window right now.
That's amazing. In Wisconsin and then in Southern Illinois, we are blanketed. Southern
Yeah,
Illinois looks like
bad.
Colorado right now. Yeah.
John, what you're working on is really cool, man. I mean, what everyone's working on is cool, but that caught my eye. Thank you.
Oh, Jon Clue. Oh,
He's
he's supposed to be here, but the weather kept us apart.
I hate it.
Yes, I'm so sorry.
That looks really nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is it visible enough? Oh, yeah. I can't really see what anybody's doing because my phone is behind me.
Same with me, but we can hear each other. We know we're participating at the same time.
I'll have to try to remember to talk.
John, for how long have you been working on that?
Oh, like a week. Maybe a little longer. It's just one that I just randomly started out of nowhere. I didn't really plan this one, and I should have.
No references?
No, I just started painting. It's up. Most of these like weird landscape things, that's how they all start. I just start scribbling with paint.
Your imagination.
Yeah, my imagination's weird.
It's pretty cool.
Thank
That's
you.
the magic of being an artist.
You stay in that detail do you kind of start in that detail place? No? If that question makes any sense.
No,
Or
I'm not sure what you mean.
do you use large, big readable shapes in the beginning, or is there a lot of that detail to start?
Well, with this one in particular, basically what I did was just started sketching, scribbling this branchy foreground shape,
Right.
and got it to like I liked this, and then I decided another one on the other side, and then I just made some circles, and next thing you know, there was mushrooms and arches and
Gotcha.
more
No big
planets.
No big secrets. It's just you make it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just kind of like making weird patterns, so the same kind of pattern is basically everywhere.
Right. I can't argue that. It's a lot of the same repeating shape. That's really dope, man.
Thank you.
Yep, Jon Clue, you've been kind of in that mode since we met you over 20
Yeah,
years
I
ago.
know.
Over 20 years ago.
Seriously,
Amazing.
well over 20 years at this
I
point.
know.
Probably closer to 30.
And AC, who is joining us from Brussels, she inspired me to become a tattoo artist. Her and we were drawing the figure together. So she was a figurative model, and we were good friends. And so nice that we could all connect like this.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's so cool.
Michelle, have you had a chance to draw the model lately?
No, I got to go to SIU. They had an anatomy class, and one of the professors invited me to come and draw, which I love doing. It was so nice. I felt
Nice.
like I was in college again, and I love the
Yeah.
feeling of that, the energy in it.
They had that.
But
They had
Go
that
ahead.
at SIU.
Yeah, but the good news, so when Guy and I moved down here to Southern Illinois, a long time ago, we didn't really know like what our needs were. We just did it. And then like later I was like, okay, where's the figure drawing? There's no figure drawing. It was
Right.
something I really counted on for art. But Guy and I and Kaya, we just bought a building, and we're gonna open an art gallery, and it's called 111. That's so cool that we're doing it on this day. And we're gonna hopefully have figure drawing there.
Oh
So
my
we're going to
God.
bring figure drawing, to the
Yeah.
gallery, and it's going to be very professional, and we'll have to see portfolios, make sure everyone's taking it seriously.
Right. Where
Remember
will
all
you
the
guys?
good times we had figure drawing at Fred Burkhardt's studio
Oh my
in
gosh.
Oh my
Chicago?
gosh.
Yes, and Charles LaRue.
Oh, yes.
Hilarious.
Good
Yes,
times.
we're
Good
excited about the
times.
figure drawing, and
Where's this place going to be?
it's going to be in Marion, Illinois, in the town square, a block from the square. It's across from
Oh,
Crown Brew Coffee House.
that's so close to me.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
so excited.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. Because that's something I've been like craving is figure drawing. I
Oh,
love
that's
doing
right.
that.
I remember talking to you about
Yeah.
that. Yeah, so cool.
I
So
learned
easy if you
so
ever visit
much
us.
from doing
Yeah,
that
right?
stuff.
Yeah, well, you can join as an artist as well, because you're a great artist.
Who?
And Braj was around last year when we were working on our manifestation. Super cool that you could join us today.
Okay, I think I'm more or less set up here.
Hey,
Nice.
Guy.
Hey,
Hey.
good to see everybody.
Hello.
Howdy.
I just bought that print.
Nice. Well, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to make a couple minor changes to it.
No.
I'm just going to do a little bit of glazing on this. In a couple places, I'm going to wake up some of the illuminated edges, and going back to some of my photo references and just
Oh, cool.
tweaking a little bit of the light in a couple places. Just being, persnickety. It's the kind of thing that I don't know if anybody will even notice, but that's fine.
I
Yeah,
love
but
how luminous the glow is. It's amazing.
Hey, Guy, I'm going to go ahead and drop that print link in the chat while everyone's here.
Okay, thank you, Lauren.
Yay.
Lauren. Hi, Lauren.
Hi, Michelle.
Thank you for all your help around Christmas time with sending the prints and taking care of that.
Absolutely.
Hey, Lauren.
Hello.
I was going to say that Guy is adding some magical energy to the painting, and you guys are present for it. So it's pretty cool when you get it hanging up on your wall. You can remember this
Yeah,
moment.
that's
Definitely.
the thing about that.
Real quick, Simon, your camera is off. Looks like it's from the camera end. Just so you know.
Okay, I got two windows going because I'm working on my computer, so I flipped my I got Zoom open twice. And you should be able to see because I put it on my phone pointing at my screen. So there's another one just
We're looking
waving
at
right
we're
now.
looking at a black screen with a camera with a line through it. So
Yeah, there's another one. There's another window. You can see me waving.
oh, I
Pointing
see.
at my
Okay, so maybe we could we turn this one off for
Yeah, it's kind of on another browser window so I can see all you guys.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, so
Can you just turn the
one of them
camera
is
off on that one?
send and one is receive.
Yeah.
So if you turn the camera off on the one that says Simon Hammock, then I won't send over the camera, but you'll get the
Oh, that
audio.
is cool, John.
Okay.
I'm looking at everyone's art. I have to stand up to look at it. Very cool. I love all your art. And when you guys get done, don't forget to post it like as a hashtag and add us so we can post the finished piece of it. You know, if, just a singular focus of it. Even if it's not finished, it doesn't matter.
Will do.
But yeah, I think just about everybody wants to start out the new year feeling like they're on the right. And it has just turned out to be such a ridiculously complicated and busy time for us, which is good because that means we're doing stuff. But yeah, this little thing we're doing today is kind of just a affirmation, I guess, of starting the year off right in our creative selves.
Oh, and also celebrating community, close and afar. You guys are part of our community.
Heck yeah.
Without community, you don't really have much, you know?
Very true.
that.
Yeah, Iloa and I were spending New Year's together this year, and we made set intentions, and I think both of us were wanting to make more art. So
Oh, cool.
lovely to be making art together.
Guy, that is an oil, no?
Correct. Yep.
Are you doing that on canvas, stretch canvas?
This is a wood panel.
Oh, nice.
And so because of that, the brushwork is just a lot more visible. It doesn't kind of average out as much the way it does on canvas. We've got kind of okay.
Is it okay if I steal a couple of your big caps?
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the higher resolution aspect of panel, but at the same time, you have to work harder at making sure things look, you know, if you want it smooth, it's harder to make it smooth. If
It's
you
almost
want
impossible. Yeah.
if you want deliberate brushwork, you just have to be really, you know, mindful of how every touch is affecting it because it's just way more receptive than canvas, which, you know, has that grid pattern that just averages things out.
The two.
Jon Clue, I would be curious how you felt about painting on wood. Have you ever tried it before?
I've only been painting on wood for a long time now.
Oh, you have? I didn't know that.
Only?
That's interesting.
I barely ever paint on canvas anymore.
Wow.
For a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
In particular, like I really like to rest my hand on the surface, and with the canvas, you obviously start pushing through.
Oh yeah, you make an indentation.
And I find that it's a lot easier for I don't poke so much with the brush and push the canvas where obviously the board doesn't give at all. So it's a lot more receptive to take paint off of the brush.
That makes sense.
But you're still using an acrylic gesso, no?
I just prime with whatever I have, really. Sometimes I prime with oil paint.
Oh, wow. I've never heard of that. Interesting.
Because there's so many ways to prepare hardboard or wood. I wonder how are you using the actual grain of the wood when you do that, John?
No.
Right.
No. With this one in particular, I just rolled out I have like a big can of latex, like acrylic, like wall paint that I, like it's cheap stuff at Home Depot.
I'll have to try that. That's cool. Never used latex.
I painted with wood for years. I mean, for the past couple of years, I've just been mostly painting with wood, but now I'm trying to enjoy canvas again because it's feeling different because I painted with wood for so long.
Got to change it up.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the process of then going back to canvas because it feels like a different material than I did before.
Yeah, I've been using all sorts of stuff, wet graphite and then removing it with clay board or removing it with eraser once it dries.
That's cool.
This is newsprint and I'm using oil pastel. I never use oil pastel, but yeah, you got to keep it fresh, you know.
Yeah, keep inventing and experimenting. That's what being an artist is all about.
Challenging yourself.
You might like oil bars, Astro.
Oil bars?
Oil bars. Yeah, they're
Oil
like
bars.
they're like oil. It's like oil paint in a stick that you can draw with, and it's very saturated looking. It's hard to control it. It's got a lot more intensity, but you could probably go into it and add fine detail once you laid out your background and got your bold shapes in. I used to like them when I was younger, but I didn't like not having the precision with them. That's what I stopped using them.
Yeah, I think that's one of those mediums that is great if you're wanting to deliberately limit how tight you can get, because it's basically a crayon an inch wide.
Right. Crayon for grown-ups.
You know, quite often I take a colored pencil, like a Prismacolor, and
Yeah.
I'll draw on some tight detail and then go over it with just liquid, and it kind of turns it into paint, and I can liquefy the pigment of the colored pencil to get super tight detail. I really didn't do that on this one, but there's a few that I have done that quite a bit with.
Guy,
It
that's
works really well.
Yeah. That's how you did all those really tight rays in that painting, Guy, upstairs. I don't remember what it's called. The one that has the clouds, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I did that all with paint eventually, but yeah, I had them laid out with colored pencil, and I think just in the course of painting, I wasn't really using liquid as much at the time. That one was all linseed oil, which I honestly kind of regret because
it dripped.
Well, it kept changing through the years, where alkyd medium just firms up and stays put. So I'm kind of done with linseed oil for the time being.
Yeah, me too. It
Takes a
just
while.
yellows so much.
Yeah.
And it's really unpredictable on like when it's going to be dry.
Well, okay, so in that case, there was a bunch of blue paint and it doesn't grip the blue paint very well. And so across the years, I mean, literally like 3-4 years, it just gathered up into little blobs. And it probably took some of the subtle color with it that I had used it to be able to spread around. So I feel like it was not only did I lose some of the subtle color, but then I ended up with all these little brown boogers all over the surface.
Wow.
No bogey.
I know those little brown boogers, man. That happened to me on a lot of paintings that I did with linseed oil. And like, you know, I tried using the highest quality linseed oil money could buy, and it still does the same thing, you know?
Yep, I'm over it.
Same.
I think it's really cool how many tattoo artists also work in a second medium and paint and explore their artistic side beyond tattooing. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's essential. I mean, I've learned that from like Guy's teachings and stuff like that. But I mean, come to realize, like, I mean, I think it's essential. You got to have a medium, man. It can't just be.
I agree.
Keeps me sane.
And it helps you think more creatively when you're approaching your tattoos.
Absolutely.
I think it's easy to forget how rare it was, 20 years ago for tattoo artists to also paint or do anything. It was still kind of a novelty. But now so many people in the trade are just serious artists across the board. And so it's kind of, I don't say a given, but it's definitely a lot more widespread.
Yeah, I've been playing around with paint for a while now, but I'm pretty amateur at it yet.
Is basically everybody a tattoo artist here?
Nope.
No.
I am.
I am.
I am.
Yeah, me
It just
too.
happens to be a lot of our mailing list, but yeah, we're hoping to have every walk of the artistic spectrum.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's like tattooing ended up being the thing that made money. I've been doing art my whole life, but tattooing was like, okay, now I can just do this. And then it kind of, I'm having fun with, and the other art, not trying to sell it or do anything, just being free.
Well, yeah, it's especially, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think this group is just a celebration of being an artist, and whatever medium you work in, could be tattooing, could be painting, could be drawing, watercolor. Just it's so cool that we could all come together with our different backgrounds and create.
I agree.
Agreed.
Not fucking up the Zoom call.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh,
Aloha.
I thought it's Sean.
oh,
So yeah, John was supposed to be up here right now.
Yeah.
Then we ended up getting all that snow.
Go
We'll have to.
figure, right?
Dang.
I know. The one weekend,
I know you can never plan when it's winter
right?
or summer, because we did art in the garden and it was like 100-degree heat index and people couldn't.
Oh, wow.
It was brutal. Even with a fan, you just couldn't cool off. And it was
Wow.
summer, so you just never know what weather's going to do.
So I remember when I used to live in Illinois in Chicago that January 10 every year there was a thaw. Did you have it this year?
A frost?
A thaw.
A thaw.
Spring?
Oh.
Okay,
Yeah,
so what's
exactly.
happening right
Okay,
now?
yeah. Good memory.
We got covered with ice
Mm-hmm.
earlier in the week, like completely covered to the point where trees came down, and now all that ice is just melting in the sun. And if you stand outside, you can just hear the pitter patter of little pieces of ice falling everywhere.
Wow.
I second that. Guy, do you ever think about painting those trees?
If I didn't have other things going on right now, I would definitely be out there painting those trees.
They look like a crystal chandelier. It's really beautiful.
I've tried to get good photos, and I may eventually, if I find some that really seem paintable, I may try it just to see if I can pull it off.
Yeah.
It's just, it's one of those things that's so nuanced in real life. I'd be afraid I wouldn't be able to capture it.
Maybe take some close-ups, some sort of macro photos along with some faraway ones.
I got multiple personalities and they all drive a different car. Kind of like that. I like my hippie
Oh, man.
Is everyone still there?
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Hey.
We're all in our minds right now.
Oh, that's cool. That's really neat.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Whoa.
So what else have we got going on here? I'm going to take a break and just look. Looks
Ooh,
like
that's
Simon's
cool.
mandala is quickly coming together.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
like
Oh, I
that
love that
eye.
mandala. That's beautiful.
I'd already started on it
Very
before,
nice.
but just something I want to work on. It's like a Ouroboros lotus. It
That's
was
beautiful.
it was actually someone who does quilling. You know what that is? Quilling
Yeah.
artwork. It's like the 3D paper artwork. And they wanted me
Oh,
to
yeah.
animate their thing, and I just like I don't think I can animate that, but I like the idea, and so this was sort of a collaboration, but more just ended up being like kind of the concept, using their concept, and they were stoked on that, and I like the idea of starting off the year of the snake with this Ouroboros lotus
Is it the
design.
year of the snake?
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
say Jon Clue. I didn't know if you had known
Oh,
that. I had seen posts about
I
that.
didn't know that, but I've
Yeah.
been drawing snakes like crazy, of course,
Yeah.
I was gonna
Actually,
say, John, it's your year.
it is, I know. I
So-
gotta really draw more snakes now.
What is significant about the Year of the Snake? Is there any kind of association with that for what it brings, or?
I have no idea. I just like snakes, but you
Yeah.
all know that.
Snakes are just dope.
It's the year of transformation.
Oh, the Year of
Aha.
Transformation. Oh, that sounds good to me. I
Shedding
like
the
that.
old, letting the
Yeah.
old go. You're like a snake.
That sounds great. You're shedding you're molting.
Rebirth.
Yeah.
Rebirth. I love that. Ooh, rebirth.
Yeah.
That's good.
Snakes typically represents instinct, intuition, and life force, like life just moving on its own.
That's really cool. That's a good.
And it's the feminine. The snake is the feminine.
Mhm.
That's why you have like all the masculine killing the snakes, the dragons, George and the dragon. It's killing the feminine.
Wow.
Cool.
That's the historical part.
That's cool.
Ananda, that's coming along. I didn't
I
know
like
that.
rebirth.
I had no idea it was gonna go that way.
Hey,
Love it.
I when I draw for myself, I like to just let it kind of wander into whatever. It started with the ibis, and then I'm like, oh, I'll do a little kind of self-portrait with multiple eyebrows, I guess. And then turning into waterfall, it turns into clouds with a little eye sun and rain.
I love using ballpoint pen. It really helps me to develop a kind of pencil or pen control.
Yeah,
Looks really cool.
thanks.
So I see at least one back piece drawing in there.
Looks like it's in ZBrush.
Yeah, I'm designing it in ZBrush.
Ooh.
The rendering.
Oh, that looks fucking cool.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Sick.
Dude, that's wild.
Is
Supposed to
there going
start
to be some
today.
glowing stuff in
Today?
there?
Oh, wow.
I'm supposed to start it today, but the customer back was not straight, so I've sent him to chiropractor to straighten his back before
You're
we
kidding
start in
me.
March.
Great
Yeah.
idea.
That's amazing.
Did you
So
just?
I actually did a back piece once that was based on a ZBrush design. It was a symmetrical design. And I got the whole thing done, and I got down to the very bottom, and his butt crack was 2 centimeters off center. I'm like, whoa. And so I had to make this asymmetrical, nirbly, knobbly root sort of thing down there in order to try to distract away from that. It ended up working just fine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've got
People
this
are gonna
glow
see the
inside.
butt crack.
Because nobody's really symmetrical.
Right.
Yeah, this one was a lorry driver, so like the drivers normally they very slanted, so he's got like an inch difference between the neck and shoulder blades.
Oh, wow.
So when I've put a stencil today, I was like, no, I've just like we need to wait and have few alignments before the session.
How often do you do that? I mean, is that something you often find yourself doing, is going, well, this isn't ready today?
I split with the back, as symmetrical back, as obviously that it was a shame because I really wanted to do this piece kind of to be perfect. So with things like that, since he was quite misshaped, this guy. With different designs, like back pieces, when they're not as symmetrical, is easy. But with this, I wanted to get it perfect.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's really cool. Man, I need to get into ZBrush.
It's fun.
It's good fun.
It
It takes
is.
some time to used to it, but it does.
There's an iPad app for it now too. That's just a limited version, but it's
Like-
a lot of fun because you can use the Apple Pencil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nomad is great.
Yeah, Nomad's great too. I
Yeah,
like
that's the one that
Nomad a
we've
lot.
been using.
What's the app for the iPad for the ZBrush?
It's just ZBrush.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's
Yeah.
simplified. It's like
Yeah.
Photoshop on iPad. It's just simplified.
Oh, wait, I didn't know there was a Photoshop app for iPad. I've only been using Procreate. Their Photoshop has something for the iPad?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
just super limited.
It's limited, yeah. Now I'm used to Procreate, so it does pretty much everything.
Yeah, we still use Photoshop when we really need to, make 1 pixel adjustments on positions of things, and we're doing layouts that need to look really professional for
Actually,
print quality, whatever.
yeah, it's for adjusting the levels and getting the lighting perfect for like if making a print or.
Right. Yeah. Every time we make an art print, I definitely bring it into Photoshop to bring it all together. They have more control over it.
I haven't
But
used
yeah,
a
Procreate
desktop
is-
computer in so long at this point since I got my first
Yeah.
iPad Pro.
Yeah, I don't like computers that much. I mostly use an
Really?
iPad too. It's hurt my head.
Yeah.
I use Photoshop for stencils and splitting the stencils because Procreate cut it. So if you
Oh, yeah.
put something, so with the Photoshop you can print in like A3 size, drag it to the legal size, which is that slightly bigger A4, and then you can move around and print certain elements and then create bigger stencil. With Procreate, it's a bit annoying because it cuts
It
it.
is. It is really a pain in the ass to stencil big with Procreate.
I wonder
Yeah,
why
so-
they clip it like that. That's such a real horrible aspect to it. The way they clip it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Comes handy, like if you want to quickly cut things, but it's just annoying for our job.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, at this point, I think most people who are just making a design, trying to create a tattoo or a painting design, Procreate is just more intuitive. You can kind of slap things together and just, not have to worry about all that little stuff. And Photoshop is more conducive to all that little stuff.
Yeah, just knowing how to use the different tools for what they're best at.
And of course, Photoshop is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh.
I think it's personally, I think it's overpriced. I really do.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't paid for it in
Agreed.
so long. I refuse.
We have a problem with printers and Procreate and Apple devices. They're so temperamental. Not
Yeah.
all printer works.
So is anyone using AI for anything?
No.
No.
Yep.
Yep.
Got a few yeses, you know.
I use AI, but I don't feel like it's a limitation because you're the one that decides how you're going to use it and the ideas that are being put together.
Right. I mean, you ultimately got to make the mark.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you.
Okay, so I went out into the yard and I took a bunch of photographs of backlit oak leaves, and they were okay, but none of them really had the lighting I wanted. And I AI'd some, and those are the ones I ended up using.
No way.
Yeah.
There you go.
That blows me away because weren't you a little hesitant at first with the AI movement?
Well, I mean, I definitely feel like there's issues with companies that are training off of artists, and there's no kind of compensation for that, and then they're just trying to make artists obsolete. Yeah, that's all definitely an issue. Now, as far as here we have these tools in our midst, should we use them? Of course we should use them. I mean, we kind of have to, or we're not going to keep up with all the people who are.
Exactly.
But we need to stay a step ahead, so we're not just
regurgitating.
Right, we're not just keyword jockeys.
Yeah.
I've got another painting on the easel where it's some kind of ruins that generated a whole bunch of ruins, and kind of took bits and pieces of some of them, but ultimately it's my own drawing.
Right.
The entire reference that I put together, involved combining probably 20 different AI generated images, 20 different things that I'd photographed myself, and a whole bunch of hand drawn elements. And by the time all is said and done, and again, it's just something I'm going to transfer onto a panel and then hand paint. So
and then you're going to
it's still gonna be
reinterpret
my
it.
art.
Yeah. So
Right.
also have a
It's about using as a tool. You got to use it as the tool that it is.
a tool, not a cheat sheet. A tool, not a cheat sheet. It's just information, right?
Yeah.
So also my philosophy is that this way, if you're using AI occasionally for a reference, you're not stealing anyone else's individual art to collage, for example.
It's a good way of looking at it.
But I mean, in some cases, you have to look on the internet for actual photo, like a flower, because AI flowers are, I think they're too fantastical looking. They don't have enough realism in them.
See, I think that's when you start photo bashing as well, like kind of what Guy was saying, or involving it with something,
Yeah, right. Collaging.
You're right. Yeah.
No, I like AI as a tool. Someone pointed out to me, because we had this deep discussion about AI about a year ago, that when humans feel like they don't have power because AI is stronger, it's ultimately dependent on electricity, right?
Yeah.
So you can pull the cord.
Just unplug it.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell that to Neo, dude.
But also, how did artists feel about cameras in the beginning? It was then it became a tool.
Well, yeah, I think about Photoshop. How Photoshop was how I hear artists were, they weren't super stoked about that whenever it first came around, because they saw it as a way to cheat somehow.
Right.
It's like now it's an industry standard for illustration. You know,
Right. It's all how you use it and what your intention is.
absolutely.
So here's an interesting one for you. The early photographs were known as daguerreotypes. I'm probably saying that wrong, but there was this guy named Daguerre or whatever, a Frenchman, I believe, who invented them. He was a very accomplished painter. So it's not like he was trying to replace painting, you know? And some of his paintings, you can tell he clearly was using photo references at a time when he was, you know, one of the only people on earth that could. So, you know, it's not like the people who invent these things are necessarily trying to make anything
No,
else.
it's not the people who invent it, but the rich people who buy it, patent it, and then use it to take
Right, true,
the wrest
true.
control of creativity from human beings and turn it into a profit machine so that we
Right.
are slaves.
So
That's when it's sinister.
yeah, we had a guest, Tony Kelly, who had a really interesting take on AI training. So think about, like, right now we're in the Napster days. Think about when there was initially music streaming, nobody was getting paid, right? And that's the way it is right now with AI's training off of our art. But let's just say that someone were to type in an artist's name and have an AI do something in that person's style, that artist would actually get a little royalty. If they were going to use it for package design or something like that, the artist would actually get more of a royalty, kind of the same way that music works. Like if it's just an individual listening to it, the artist gets a tiny, you know, fraction of a cent. But if that music is going to be used in a TV commercial, that artist gets paid a lot. So, you know, we don't have anything like that yet. But if there are actually fairness in the way that AI training is done, you know, it's not inconceivable that artists could be compensated for that. We would also be credited too.
Yeah. I can't help but wonder though, so AI training, isn't that a lot like me just looking at a lot of Zdzisław Beksinski paintings and then sort of me training myself on how to do it, and then I can essentially replicate him? I don't know, that maybe I'm going
like 10 trillion times the speed.
You're right.
Right. It's kind of like that, but the thing is when a product designer or somebody is deliberately invoking the style of a living artist and asking an AI to make something in that style so they don't have to pay that artist.
That's really
Where it
crappy.
becomes bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a fine line right there. Yeah, that's a good.
It is a fine line.
You know, you can train your own art on it also, which is pretty
Yeah.
fun. I do that for animation and also just totally remixing my own art, and then it's pushing me to go further with my own art also.
Wow.
Stable
Upload
diffusion.
So is that Simon who said that? Because I'm not watching. How would you do that?
I've used a lot of different apps. I unfortunately have never gotten Stable Diffusion to work well on my computer, so I've done that within Midjourney and
That's
Leonardo. Leonardo is actually the main one I'm using right now. I was using Midjourney a lot before, but I really like Leonardo right now, and it's awesome for me because I also do a lot of animation, so it's being able to create a lot of frames for animation ideas and storytelling, but also like just using my own art and then feeding it to it and then describing a scene. And then the same way, Guy, that you were talking about using it to reference different images, it's like you just build on top of that and then you can Photoshop that together, and then you can take that Photoshop and then feed that back into it. And it's amazing in that way. So
That sounds really cool.
Simon,
yeah, it's really fun.
Have you used the blend feature on Midjourney?
Blend?
Yeah, it's
where you totally. Yeah, no, that's the shit too. I love doing that. That's like you're just basically kind of you can it's just so exponential there that you can just go crazy for too long just generating all these different styles, and it's mind-blowing.
So what that means is there's infinite possibilities and we all should stay really busy.
Yeah, exactly. The challenge though is that it's easy to just get too lost in that for periods of time. It's like I have way too many folders of ideas now, and so it's like, okay, at some point you got to just actually make the piece.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I love that. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, it's fun.
Because I'm gonna research that idea. I think that's pretty intriguing.
Hmm.
So I have a
Preference.
question for people that are like using it a lot because I got real like freaked out about it when I heard that ChatGPT was like for every 100 words it's costing like a liter of water or something like this. And I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, how is that in the Mid-Journey and all of that?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because I just learned this year about the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum and how there was a large amount of solving the energy usage by switching to a different type of mining thing that I don't really understand, but that it solved a lot of the uh, environmental stuff. And so I was wondering if where is everything on that for the Mid-Journey and whatnot?
No idea. I really don't know.
I think, yeah, there's a lot of different rabbit holes you can go down there, but it's uh complicated. But computing power is shrinking and at the same time expanding. So it's really weird because processors are getting faster but also smaller. And so they sort of, I don't know, it's like from my understanding, they sort of are simultaneously like using more energy, but then each iteration kind of uses less. It's like the most recent supercomputers were the size of, I don't know, like a big room, and now they're like a desktop size computer or smaller. And so that's not using as much energy as the one that was the size of the room. And it's like a quantum computer. So I don't know. It's a weird world with all the energy stuff.
What I've noticed about AI is that when you're searching for a reference image, often you just get a bunch of AI garbage that's
Yeah.
because it's so
Oh
distorted.
yeah.
Has 45 hands, or it's just you find a lot of AI stuff where there isn't supposed to be AI stuff. Even researching a chicken breed or something like that, you'll get purple chickens.
So
Totally, I've noticed that too, Kaya.
this is all AI or based on AI images, what I'm working on.
Whoa, that looks
I gotta
cool.
see. Hold on.
Oh, cool.
I mean, I'm using the stuff as reference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's only being used as reference. And yeah, I mean, if something's off in the reference, then I'll make sure to rectify it. But yeah, it can be a turnoff for sure. But I mean, that's just a few images thrown together and something to work on.
It's a point of reference. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's how you're creating, how you're utilizing your resources.
The deal with the Mid Journey is it's learning your choices. So as more you use, then it's set up more towards your choices. So different people's Mid Journey will give you different results. So if you start using it, it's gonna give you randoms. But if you use it for a lot of time, it starts picking up the one which fits your kind of choices from the past.
That's right.
You could apply the same conversation to electronic music versus classical instruments, because a lot of those sounds are they're created, they're synthetic, but it's how you put them together that either makes it intriguing or not. So I feel like those are just resources.
Yeah.
But they're sampled from actual instruments, just like AI is sampling from actual artists. But I guess that's not good if people aren't getting their credit. It's a fine line, I guess, how you feel about it and how you use it.
Well, it's funny you bring up sampling. In music, often nowadays, music is sampled.
Yeah.
And often it isn't. The original artist isn't credited.
You're right.
When it's sampled.
The amount of times that I've said to my partner, because he's listening to music that's sampling something from the 50s or 90s, and I'm just like, oh, wow, that's that song. And he's like, what? I thought like it's all using just that person's words.
Yeah.
There's nothing saying that this is being sampled, and it's like using basically the whole song. And it sounds different and it's cool, but it's like, just say that you were using that song.
Yeah.
And then he'll be like, what is that? And I'll be like, oh, just give me a second. And I'll search YouTube, and there's like a thing from the 60s that's a music video for that exact song. He's like,
Yeah.
wild.
I think there's a limit with how much time you can take from any sample, and it's okay. But then once it's past a certain amount of time, then it's considered plagiarism unless you get permission.
Oh, that I think it's.
And I think it's cool the way that it sounds. It's just, I think it makes the most sense to say that you're sampling something instead of acting as though you wrote those lyrics and
Right.
sing this song.
Well, like Vanilla Ice with David Bowie.
Yeah.
Wasn't that like? Yeah, exactly. I remember that was one of the first ones. Yeah.
Okay, well, here's another one. Remember that hit song by that guy Gautier? Now you're just somebody that I used to know.
Yeah.
Had a sample in it that was too long, and he would have had to give up half of his profits to this other artist, like literally half. I guess it was a long enough sample, and so that's why he never took any profits from the song. Just released it for free.
Whoa.
I didn't know that he never took profits from the song, but that makes sense. That's a good
That
way
was
to
a
do it.
popular song too, man.
Yeah.
He missed
Oh,
out
yeah.
on some
Actually,
chance.
I'm sure a lot of people find that song relatable at different points of their life. It's a good song. I think it's great.
But if the most catchy riffs aren't even yours,
Yeah, exactly.
it's
Exactly.
not that big of a hit.
Yeah, it's true. It's interesting when like a lot of hip hop uses songs from the 70s and 80s and reimagines. Then they popularize it, and then people who've never heard it the first wave become familiar with it. So there is that too.
What
I
a
think
chance to
Sting,
keep the samples short.
Yeah.
I think Sting was able to put his kids through the university being paid by Didi for sampling his music.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting conversation we're having because we're kind of doing art for art's sake.
Art for art's sake, that's right.
And a lot of the debates that I can see about AI is about ownership and about who gets credit. And I think the answer to whether or not you use it or not is really about, to me, whether or not you feel like you're participating in a creative effort or whether or not you're destroying something that you find fundamentally like atrocious to you.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't. I like the Gautier example because he obviously made something that he felt like needed to happen and be put out in the world. It didn't matter if he got credit. It was that it had to be made. It was kind of something that was made, and he had to see it be released because it was too good not to be. And all of us kind of take inspiration from each other, you know.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
So
there's no such thing as someone who's not influenced by something or someone else. There's no such thing.
Yeah.
Totally.
None
I
of
can't
us
really
are
see
original.
my.
We don't exist in vacuums, right? Like we exist in community. We just have this system in place where, like, in order to continue to exist, you have to make money, and that's like where the problem comes in, right? But we all draw inspiration from each other, from nature, from the past.
Well,
It's all
yeah, and
about
I could never
how much.
claim my art as mine. It's not mine. It's something I feel gifted enough to transcend and funnel through me and create something that isn't there anymore. But it's not me. It's something other. It's something that I think is connected to something that is much bigger, which is what gives it value and why people are drawn to it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I think of it kind of like the ancient. Oh,
I'm sorry. I was just gonna push back just a little tiny bit on the "it's not mine" and stuff that like that bit. Because I feel like just on from a logic that puts you in the position of saying like, it's not me. It's the gun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not me. The higher up told me the big other told me to do it, right? The muse, whatever. I want to say that there's something that's, again, there is some kind of
well, I mean,
collaboration.
it's
There's a
not fully me.
collaboration, I
That's
suppose.
what I mean. It's not fully me. I take ownership for what I am, but it's not fully me. And I think that's that's what I'm saying, is that it's something that I feel invoked to do. And I'll take the responsibility of what that is. Sometimes the responsibility is epic failure and nothing happens. You know, like
Totally.
sometimes
I think that's exactly it, though.
it just has to come out.
That's exactly it. It's more you than you, which is crazy.
Wow.
It's more you than you. I mean, it's like, that's why, how can we fetishize the art object? You know what I mean? Like, it has some sort of, we have a response to it. Like, it's been touched by something,
Well, art taps
bigger
into the
than us.
What about
So I
people
guess-
who built megalithic structures like pyramids and all that, and cathedrals and whatnot? I kind of think of it in those terms, like we're seeing something bigger than us happening, and all of our art is feeding into this sort of like Akashic records of art, and it's becoming
that's
something
God's eye
more.
point of view, though. That's a God's eye point of view that you're
Right. I think
describing.
that's
Like, and
awesome.
who has the God's eye point of view to look at your own, the tragedies of your own life and in your own time and see the artwork there? It's maybe for later, like retroactively, the beautiful painting, but that's God's eye point of view rather than our own. And we just don't have any guarantee of, like, if we could make the best art.
Yeah, it's
And
like, the people that worked on the pyramids, they didn't care about how they contributed to their individual little section of the pyramid. They just were glad to get to work on the pyramid.
Something like that.
People that worked on the pyramids.
Maybe if they were doing it by their own will.
Right.
It's different, like, there's a different consciousness of, like, throughout historical epochs. Like, we have this sort of, we're postmodern, right?
Yeah.
Post-modernity already happened, right? And so, like, I heard people talking about, like, the stages of, like, what is spirits becoming? But, like, what are the stages of consciousness, right? And we have this sort of archaic, we move through history and stuff. But here we are today. And it is tough to, like, apply our lens of what we, there's probably a lot of morality that we share that we may not understand on an unconscious level. But that may not sort of transcend, like, space, in history. Like the way what was right and wrong is,
Here, hi, Puppers.
Well, getting into the concept of the Akashic records and where does art come from? Does it belong to me? There's the concept, the Akashic records is basically like cumulative history or memory of energy. That every action, every thought has a memory, and that is the Akashic records. And it also kind of correlates with the unconscious or the collective unconscious hypothesized by Carl Jung, that there's layers to consciousness, and there's a point where all consciousness overlap and intermingle. So I think that there's definitely part of art where it comes from is filtered by our ego, which is more like the superficial aspects of consciousness, more like our interface for interacting with each other in a physical world. But then art also comes from this place of this collective awareness or this collective experience too. That's maybe side by side with creative energy or creator energy, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
I always think the creative act is inherently, like, a chaotic and destructive one. Do you know what I mean? Like, have you ever thought of it this way? Like, you're always destroying. Like, that's what's necessary. It's what produces the conditions for the possibility of creativity.
Like, we're ruining the picture.
Yeah, you're ruining the something.
I think it might have two sides to it. Like, for example, Timothy Hoyer said, and I don't know if this is his quote or if he just got it from someone else, but you're either busy living or you're busy dying. So you're either busy creating or you're busy destroying. It's all perspective and how you look at it and what your intention is and what you're feeling. I feel like there's another, just like the Chinese two coin symbol of every idea and every word. I don't know that it's all destroying. I feel like there's another side to it too. It's how
Yeah, the
you.
picture I'm working on, the Ouroboros Lotus.
I agree. Have you guys ever read The Great Divorce?
No.
Anyone?
No, I've never even heard of it.
It's a beautiful book. It's not very long, but it's all about it's kind of a envisioning of what it is after you die when you're in between heaven and hell. And it's about letting go of attachment. And within it, there's a painter. And this in-between place is very beautiful. And he keeps saying, I want to paint it. I want to paint it. And there's all these souls that are supposed to usher you off to, you know, they want to bring you to a better place. Like they're trying to have you go with them. But the artist, or the soul, I shouldn't say she, because I don't think it's expressed, but the soul basically says, well, you know, art is meant to remind people and to reconnect them to something that they don't remember and that they can't appreciate. She's like, or the soul was like, there's no need for that here. Everyone is connected. And he is just aghast, this artist. He's like, I need to show people what is art. I need to go back, and basically asked about his life of art beyond his death. And the soul was like, oh, you've been forgotten. You've been forgotten. That, you know, nobody looks at your art anymore. They've moved on. And he is just aghast. He is so upset. And I think it's a really great thought space about our attachment. And that's why it's called The Great Divorce, is because it kind of probes at people's attachments and what they have to let go of in order to move on to a higher place of just embracing their own betterment and the kind of things that we in this physical plane come to understand or get locked into, and that are no longer relevant to us in certain other spaces. It's a very good book. I highly recommend it.
What was it called again?
It's called The Great Divorce. It's a C.S. Lewis. It's an underknown. Most people know Chronicles of Narnia and Scrooge's letters and things like that. But
that's wild that it's a C.S. Lewis. I never would have expected that.
Yeah.
Wasn't he like wasn't he like a minister or something? C.S. Lewis? I think he was.
He is he's a quirky character, because like one of his favorite his best friends was Tolkien.
Oh,
and,
wow.
And Tolkien almost always got mad at him because, you know, he got out all of the Lord of the Rings, but it took him all that time to do the Lord of the Rings. And meanwhile, C.S. Lewis was putting out book after book after book, and he was like, man, like, what's going on? But they both had a lot of respect for each other. But C.S. Lewis is considered a Christian apologetic writer. But his books, I love them because they're full of a lot of fantasy and thought spaces that are very unique. And I don't think, for me, God is not limited like that. The themes can transcend regardless of what you're using.
Any good writing or art can do that for sure.
Yeah.
Lewis actually did a great sci-fi trilogy that was a very early environmental piece of writing. The Paralanda, That Hideous Strength. I'm trying to remember the third one, but the forces of evil are trying to destroy everything beautiful in nature, and it was, you know, you didn't really hear that kind of thing back then.
No, he was incredible. I'm sorry, I have to plug my phone in. I'm losing you guys.
I think that didn't C.S. Lewis and Tolkien write for entertaining people during war? Or I think I know that Lewis wrote for his son, right, who was in World War II while he was on the battlefield.
Well, that was Tolkien. He was writing,
oh, that was Tolkien. Wasn't C.S. Lewis doing that too, though? I feel like there was a story there. Not positive, but
I can't comment on that.
Yeah, it's okay. I just think they had a lot of parallels in terms of their intent too. Tolkien and C.S. Lewis.
I pretty much only read Philip K. Dick.
Yeah, that sounds like Guy. Whoever said that, I can't see, but Guy made me read Philip K. Dick when I first met him,
Yeah,
and I didn't like it.
Philip K. Dick's amazing.
After the election, I just went through The Man in the High Castle again.
Funny.
Oh, nice.
Philip K. Dick. I'm gonna write it down.
Any Brandon Sanderson fans?
I just finished listening to that series.
So good.
Does he do the dragons? There's like lots of dragons. I feel like my partner was reading something by him.
Not in the
No,
Mistborn series.
I haven't read Mistborn. I've been reading the Stormlight Archive.
Oh, that one, yes.
Well, Mistborn comes in the order. I think Mistborn was first.
What? I didn't know there was one before.
Yeah, the Mistborn. There's a 3-book and then a 4-book series after that.
Oh man. Okay.
Okay.
Got homework.
I had to look up which order to read them. I just started listening to them, so.
Nice. Yeah, they just came up as a recommendation in Audible since I've like cleared out all of the Wandering In books. And I was like, oh yeah, this sounds great. And it is so well written.
Oh yeah.
Huge fan.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll watch that one again.
I came
What
across
was
it
that
after
again?
finishing the Dresden Files.
Stormlight Archive from Brandon Sanderson is the author, but Mistborn is before, yeah.
Yeah, those came out first,
All right.
and they're all in the same universe.
Okay, just
Cool.
for everyone, it looks like we have 9 minutes left, according to one of the clocks.
That went quick, dude. Damn.
I know. I said to Guy it's going to go fast. It's like a wedding. It goes really fast.
So I want to hear what.
Wild. I'm literally going to a wedding later today.
Oh wow, what are you looking at it?
Prepared I am.
So everybody participating, please, please, please add us and tag us when you're happy with your piece, and so we can include it in our overview of the day.
What tag would you recommend?
111 dot. Oh, go ahead, Guy. You go ahead.
Oh yeah, the hashtag is 111 Art Day, and then also put tag gallery111.art.
Hey, when do you guys think you're going to open your gallery?
Oh man, well, we've got contractors giving us quotes. We're kind of in that place. It's gutted. Yeah, we've got some work to do. We're hoping
we
for
are
fall
moving along though. We are moving along, and we
I'm really excited for you guys.
We're
I
hoping
think that's
October, November.
I think it's one of the coolest things that I've heard that you guys have been up to.
Oh, I can't wait, man.
Really exciting.
I'm like 20. I'm gonna be 20 minutes from it.
Oh,
yeah, you'll have to come to our art openings, and we're going to have open calls for a lot of the stuff that we're doing, and it's going to be for local people and afar. So you guys are all included in the open calls. When we have themes, we're going to explore themes. Like someone said earlier today, rebirth. I really like that theme. Although we'll do our version, maybe use a different word because Guy said that word's been used a lot, but I like the idea of rebirth. And we're also going to be doing a family mural on the side of the building.
Whoa,
and there's
cool.
already a mural there. We're going to be working with it. And for the tattoo artists out there, it's pretty cool because we're like, your client comes to you and they have a tattoo that they're sentimental about and it has good meaning, but you have to build around it. So we're going to be building around an existing mural.
That's awesome.
That is cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's
Did you guys have y'all ever heard of the concept of 11 being a representation of the pillars of heaven connecting with the pillars of earth, or the pillars of the conscious, like the connecting force between consciousness and the physical is represented by 11.
I've been hearing a lot of like magical stuff about 1 and 11 and 111 and 1111 like for years. So when we saw the building, the first thing I noticed was the address, which is 111. And then today is 111. And that's why we were inspired to do this with you guys. But when we looked it up, it talked about manifestation and change and following your destiny. And it felt really like that's what we were doing. It felt really symbolically appropriate for our intentions and where we're at in our life. So it felt really cosmic. So what you're saying is really cool too. There's a lot of interesting associations with that number.
Yeah. It's the first number past 10, which is like the return to the beginning. So like
That's
1
cool.
is the individual, all the way through 9 is the shaman, the divine teacher, the bodhisattvas, the saints. And then 10 is really the oneness with united with all that is. And then 11 represents that connection moving forward into all of the other layers.
That's
It's a
super
really
cool.
it's amazing
It is
number
cool.
for y'all for this gallery. I'm so stoked for you guys.
Thank you. I like the singularity of one, the oneness of things, because that's when there's the most peace also. And I feel like that's something we could all, our whole society and our whole planet could benefit from. So if we can have a little part in just even having some consciousness towards that, it feels really significant to me. That one is just a singular number.
I have a friend in Evanston who's a painter and opened a gallery in Evanston maybe a month ago. So I thought it was interesting that you are also thinking about opening a gallery. I was wondering what's going on that people want to not only paint but also facilitate spaces.
Yeah, well said.
To promote the arts for their peers, for their colleagues. I think it shows a lot of generosity. It's a big commitment.
Yeah. I guess
also
yeah.
really want real things, real spaces that are organic, that are not corporate, that are made by people in the community who have a genuine love for what they're doing. I mean,
Mom
we
and
can have
pop.
a corporate thing. That's I think what people are craving now.
Yeah. And not just online.
Yeah, exactly.
Something tactile.
We've opened the gallery 3 years ago. We've got a tea room with gallery space. It's maybe not a big space, but we've got artists every month changing exhibitions, and it became a nice artistic hub and meeting people, and every month opening like events. It's a really good time to meet up with people and local artists. So, and everyone is very appreciative about having a chance to showcase the work. So it's been a good and definitely a good rewarding idea.
And where is that?
It's in UK, Blackpool.
Oh, it's in Blackpool. Because I live in
England.
Brighton.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I know
Wow,
Brighton,
that's so cool.
but it's not very
Yeah.
close. Okay.
Yeah, it's opposite side, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can everybody say where they're from, where they're joining in? Because I'm not seeing the screen, your location, so we know where people are joining us from.
Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Anna, Illinois.
Seattle.
Fargo,
Actually,
Illinois.
I live in Brighton, but I'm in LA.
Cool. Well, not right now.
Texas.
I'm in LA.
I'm in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Nice.
Keenan, I'm in Bloomington, Indiana.
Here in Illinois.
Fort Myers, Florida.
Marion, Illinois.
Wait, who's in Marion? Oh.
Amanda.
Oh, Amanda.
Okay.
Hi. I didn't realize that. On the screen. I was like, ooh, Marion. Cool. That's awesome. Thank you for joining us today.
I'm in Huntsville, Alabama.
And Blackpool, UK.
Baltimore, Maryland.
Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
I'm from India.
Calgary,
Canada. Nice.
Oh my God, Sean.
What's up?
I'm in Nashville,
That's
Tennessee.
sick, bro. That is so sick.
Is that Amy?
Yes.
Hi, Amy. I'm not looking at the screen tonight. I'm glad you could join us. I'm loving
Thank you so much.
Loving your Strata Easel Challenge stuff you're doing.
Inspired by you last year.
Aw.
Thank you.
That's so cool.
1 minute left.
Oh
Oh, can we just keep hanging out? I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I mean, been drawing.
I guess that's up to Gabe. He's the host.
Oh
Where
yeah,
the-
and
do you want to mention?
I
Yeah.
vote
strict
for an
on
extension.
when people are having this much fun, I'm all about stopping it.
If you are someone that lives in the general area and you have not yet joined us at one of our art socials, we do those on Wednesdays at the Marion Carnegie Library, but it's not every Wednesday. Shell, what's the?
You can follow our social
Um,
media on Instagram. It's Art Social SI, and SI stands for Southern Illinois because someone else said Art Social. And I post when we're doing it. So there's a schedule there and tells you when we're doing it.
You'll be seeing us, me and my girl Amanda.
Cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, I feel like this has been a real success, and it wouldn't be a success without you all joining us. And we should definitely do this again.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yes.
We want our
Yes.
gallery to be part of an online world too, not just so we can connect with you and connect with more people. And we want to connect.
I'm gonna
Sounds
get
like
Bilbo
fun.
to join next time.
Oh, cool! I would love for Bilbo to join.
nice.
I forgot he
He was
does art,
busy
which is
today.
amazing. Aw,
He was busy today, but I'll get him to do it otherwise.
that's cool. I'm glad you could join too, Braj. We
Yeah.
have to do this again.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll have to have a makeup date since Clue couldn't make it in person. That will be a good premise. Or
Okay.
center around some other philosophical notion of interestingness.
hmm
Anyone have any ideas?
Well, you can do 111 in the morning, and then the rest of us can have it not at night.
That's awesome.
I hear a bird chirping.
I think it's outside.
Is it?
That's awesome.
That's
I just wanted to say that if anybody's, I think it'd be awesome if we were having more of these with the 111 theme as
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
And for anybody that's, would be impatiently waiting that, with reinventing the tattoo, we do this sort of thing every Monday, but we have like an assignment kind of thing that we work on together. But it's very similar. We all get to chat. James is here. Guy does one a month with us, and Jon Clue's done some with us, and they're a blast. And you don't have to be a tattoo artist to join them either. They're like definitely not exclusive for that. And if anybody was interested, you can check out reinventingthetattoo.com, or you can email me, which is just sandy@reinventingthetattoo.com. We'd love to have more people drawing with us every Monday.
And the technology does now allow the first week free,
Yes.
just like drugs.
Well, that's a great resource. So thank you for hosting and for making this possible for us to all join each other and be creative.
Yes, thank you.
I didn't get to see everybody who was on the screen because I haven't been looking, but I look forward to seeing what you guys post and being like, oh, you joined. I didn't know that. Or that's good piece. So don't forget to tag us, and you can continue doing your art all day. I mean, there's no limit. Today's 111. The whole day is really.
I can keep drawing
Yeah.
when we're done.
Yeah, we'll keep this Zoom going for as long as people
Cool.
stay on. And I have hard drive space.
Oh yeah, it's getting recorded. That's a big one.
Oh
No,
yeah.
we have plenty of time.
So do tattoo artists feel isolated?
In
You
what
mean
way?
in terms of the art world?
Do you feel like, do you, as a tattoo artist, do you feel that things get lonely sometimes, as if you were maybe a painter painting in your studio alone all the time? Or do the clients coming and going take care of that solitude piece?
I mean, for me, I work solo. Most people who tattoo work in a studio where there's multiple artists, so there definitely is a certain amount of just day-to-day social activity. But I have a very strong connection with the people I work on because they're all-day sessions usually, and often it's more than one day in a row. And these are often people that will come back again and again. And so we can kind of pick up where we left off. And so I can tell you a quick story. One time I had to do a back piece on a piece of rubber. It was a latex cast of somebody's back, and I didn't enjoy it at all. Just because there's nobody to talk to. So it was a very social art form for sure.
I think tattooing is kind of like borderline performance because of the need to be in touch with your client on a regular basis, like constantly checking in with them. And
It's
I always
definitely
feel like
got
I have
me
to
out of my shell,
entertain.
for sure.
I got a lot of voices in my head all the time that keep me company, so I'm never alone or get lonely.
There's also just the element of touch. There's actual like just human in touch. So
yeah, I'm an extroverted introvert, not to be hack, but I like people, but I also really need recharge. So I think being a tattoo artist is a good balance of both.
Yeah, if it wasn't for tattooing, I probably really wouldn't leave my house.
Same. Yeah, same, dude.
It's
I
good to
think
have a
that's
pretense.
Like I only leave the house to walk my dog and to go buy food other than to go tattoo. Seriously, I really don't. I live in a place where I don't know anybody, and I actually really like it this way.
I think a lot
I've
of
gotten
artists are that way.
so much more work done than when I lived back home in Brooklyn. I was out every day.
Yeah. And you have so much more personal space too, John.
Yeah, I love it. Like I'm really taking advantage of it. I've been painting every day.
That's amazing. I see you posting every day, and I'm happy to see you painting.
Yeah, it feels so good.
John, your work inspires me quite a bit, man.
Thank you.
That slow additive sort of architectural stuff you've been doing.
I don't know what you call it. I don't know where it comes from. I just let my hands do what they feel like doing
I
for
love
the
it.
world.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's inspiring.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's cool that John's architectural motifs, he's been developing them for
For a
20 odd
long
years.
time. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see how they have morphed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Beksinski was, I believe, an architect.
He's a huge inspiration.
That doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
Yeah. There was an old friend of Guy's that came to visit Chicago a long time ago, and she had a book that she had just gotten back from Poland, which I think was like her home, and her name was Dante. Am I right?
Dante,
Oh,
that's
yeah, I remember
right.
Dante. Yeah.
She brought
That
this
was our
book.
first exposure to Beksinski. Yeah, it was what?
It was like this inch and a half thick, bigger than 14 by 11, and it was just page after page of like the darkest but most beautifully painted images I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And I have chased everything that I could find from him since then.
Well, what's wild is, I follow the museum.
Yeah,
And
so do I.
every day they post something, and
I know
bunch of them I've never seen. It's like,
it's
man, it just
crazy.
doesn't end.
It's nuts how many things that, I have like 6 or 7 books of all the work that, is in print.
He's
But
busy.
still, day after day, it's like, where the hell did that one come from?
Hey, another one.
It's nuts.
There's a lot of artists that work like him as well, I've noticed, like Alan Williams, Ben Connellan. I don't know. I see a lot of it on Instagram. The people seem to sort of, I think, subconsciously imitate him. I know I do.
Yeah, I mean, I think that people who like that sort of bio-ish look, but don't want to look too Giegerish, that he's sort of
Right.
like the next stop over from there, where it's a lot more organic and a little bit more nuanced, and of course, the use of color is really very different from anything Giger ever did.
Oh, yeah.
There was also a Dutch painter, Jofra, who did a lot of really interesting stuff like that too. A lot different than Beksinski, but still on that same kind of vein a bit.
Yeah,
spell that?
architectural, sort of textured spaces.
Yeah.
Jofra?
Yeah, it's
Jofra, yeah.
Jhofra. Forget his first name. It starts with a B. Boshart.
Actually,
Maybe
no,
it's
it's that Jofra is his first name.
and then
It's
his last name is Boshart or something
right,
like
yeah.
that.
Right, but you'll usually just find him under Jofra. But yeah, I think you can find him on Insta. I mean, his estate anyway. Or if you have the Biomech Encyclopedia, I did a feature on him there.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look.
And Guy, who did you Ernst Fuchs, is that his
Oh,
name?
Fuchs, yeah.
Oh,
His
nice.
stuff is kind of abstract and cool, like Brzezinski-ish, but it's a little bit more mossy.
Okay, so you're thinking Max Ernst. Fuchs is amazing too, but Max Ernst was one of my very early influences.
Oh man.
Yeah, really interesting textural stuff. He did a lot of things where he would find or create a textured surface, which he would then just paint into and find stuff to lift out of it.
I've been doing that lately. I've been doing the decalcomania stuff where you
Cool.
put some wet acrylic paint on a really gessoed surface, and then just take some plastic or saran wrap and smear it around and see what you find. And use that as your underpainting.
No, that could be a cool thing to do as a collective for everyone to do
That
something
sounds
like
like
that and pull
fun.
out what you see in your imagination
That's a great theme.
as a challenge. Everyone's would be different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hello.
Hi.
Like I thought that it's 1-1-1 challenge, so I finished my work. So that's
Awesome.
Oh, very cool, man.
That's great. Thank you for participating.
yeah, bro.
Yeah, beautiful.
We'll have to do this again sometime.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
And Gabe, thank you for hosting us too and making time for us
Oh,
today.
anytime.
And Sandy, you too, is the co-chair of all the cool things that you guys do. And Lauren, Guy, everybody,
I think I'm actually officially done with this one.
congratulations.
Oh,
That's awesome.
It could have been done before, but now I got to do this thing where I no longer can see anything I can reasonably do to it. And
That's a good feeling.
That's a good point.
I wish I could ever get there. That's sick, man. That's so good.
Guys, your painting have any kind of meaning that you want to share, or is it just whatever people want it to be?
This is one in particular that I would definitely not want to tell anything, Definitely
Yeah.
would want to just leave this completely up to the viewer to find their interpretation of it.
Awesome.
I want to hang out there for sure.
Well, okay. If anything, I
wanna
definitely
party.
wanted to make a space that was inviting.
There you go.
It worked. For sure.
You definitely managed that.
You used
the
ref.
moment-
Did you use
the moment
reference
I saw
photos?
it was just like, yeah, you want to be there.
The references I used were I used a sky reference. I used some leaf references, which I was explaining earlier. I AI generated those.
Yeah.
I tried photographing some myself, and I just didn't get the lighting that I wanted. And then there were a number of afternoons where I was doing a lot of the work on this in late September, early October. So I just brought it outside during a certain time of day when the sun was at that angle in front of the woods, you know what I mean, and tried to copy and mimic some of what I was seeing there. But it wasn't a literal interpretation. It was just trying to capture the vibe.
Yeah, the way the branch goes into the background, you really gray things out. The depth is insane.
I follow a lot of landscape painters, and it always surprises me how, like, what colors they use you wouldn't expect. Like, as you go deep into the background, the farther away things are, the more purple you go. And it kind of is that way in real life, but when you actually paint it, you maybe exaggerate that purple a little bit because it's more effective. But at the same time, you have to kind of manage how much you exaggerate it, just so it doesn't get too stylized looking. So it's always a balance. There's a lot of, like, for me, there's a lot of glazing of making it just a little warmer, just a little cooler, trying to nail it, because I'm still narrowing it down.
Pushing and pulling. Yep.
Yep.
Very cool.
I got a little secret I'm going to share about this painting. I got this stuff a few weeks ago. It's glow in the dark paint.
Wow.
And
Nice.
it's oil paint.
Oh, wow.
And I got a whole
Nice.
set of a whole bunch of different colors. So once I'm finished laying this all out, I'm gonna go over some of it with this glow in the dark paint, and I'm gonna make a glow in the dark painting.
That'd be
That's super cool.
That's
I'm pretty
awesome.
excited about it. As silly as it sounds, I just love things that glow in the dark. I always
So when
have.
you say glow in the dark, do you mean like phosphorus that you
Yeah,
charge?
yeah.
Okay, so not black light.
No, like real deal
Interesting.
glow in the dark.
That's so cool.
What
Right?
brand is it? I'm curious.
It's called Glow Cubed,
Okay, might have to try that.
and it says handmade by Russ Wagner.
You're just gonna put it on the lighter parts?
I'm gonna put it. I haven't decided like if I'm gonna outline the mushrooms and then paint some of the patterning, and then just like some of the glow stuff, and then maybe like these like weird rays around this planet moon thing. I haven't decided 100% like where I'm gonna put it yet, but I'm definitely gonna use it for this painting, and I'm pretty excited about it.
That will suit that painting well, John, because it looks like that kind of scene already. You know, like you would see
Yeah,
that at nighttime and it would be glowing like glowworms.
Totally.
Super cool.
I'm excited about it.
That's gonna be really cool. It already is.
Thank you.
Anybody else finishing anything right now?
Getting close with this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting pretty close with mine.
I have to figure out a way to resolve these arches in the background because I'm not happy with them at all, and I wish that I didn't put them there, but I did, and it's too late for that already. And sometimes you just gotta, like sometimes you just feel like painting and you don't really plan it, and this is what happens when you do that. But it looks cool. It's just not at all what I intended, and I don't know what the hell to do with those arches. It's like either do I
I
push
think
them
just
back
embrace them.
further? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where I'm at with it. It's like I'm
Give
not
them a
sure.
great big hug.
I have to make a decision of to either push them back further by lightening them or bring a little bit more detail into it and put them a little bit closer into the foreground. But I'll decide that probably at some point later tonight. And I got a
Well, what
call.
would you put in them instead? What
Oh
would you put in there
wow.
instead? Because it needs to
More
have
of
something there.
this just in the
Well, you can still do
background.
that.
I think it's too late for that, and I'm not really looking to
It's
spend
never
too
too
much more
late.
time on this. I'm at
Dude,
the
that
point
could,
where this one has to get wrapped up because I have 8 boards that I primed the other night that I'm ready to start off. And sometimes you just got to pick and choose your battles,
yeah.
Man, I
Totally.
struggle with that so much. Like I have so many pieces I'm working on right now, at once, and it's like I struggle picking which one I'm going to work on.
Yeah. I have this big one. I don't know if you can see the one in back of this one, but it's a big, like 6-foot tall board. That's a commission that I have to address at some point
Oh, cool.
this month too. Yeah, it's got a bunch in progress at once at all times.
Well, this has been really fun, but I'm gonna go now.
Okay, well, thank you
And
for
I'll
joining us. Thank you for joining
yeah.
us. And thank
And
you,
my
everybody, for
technology, I couldn't figure out how to make it so I can have the video and do the art and whatever, and not just show the ceiling.
Brad, we'd love to catch up with you in person sometime, not on the Zoom. So anytime you're
Yeah.
free, you want to chat, or
Okay.
even if you're traveling, we'd love to see you.
Yeah. Okay.
But also we can continue
I'll
this.
be in touch.
Okay, please be in
Yeah.
touch. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you, Raj.
Yeah, I'll be
Thank
in
you for
touch.
joining.
Okay.
Great to see you, Raj.
Thanks.
Yeah, nice.
Bye.
Have a nice rest of the day. Okay.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Happy 111.
Yay!
Yay.
Dude, I really feel you as far as like figuring out your composition as you go. That's kind of one of the things that I love about drawing with pen, like just out of my mind, because it forces me to just like embrace what I've got and just keep going anyways. And I feel like I get so much weirder when I can't self-edit as well. Like the only editing tools I really have are just tone, like making something darker or adding more around it. Like originally, like I put the eyebrows in the wrong place, so I just like added more eyebrows. I'm like, not really the vibe. So then I just shaded it darker. But I don't know. I feel like that's one of the things that I love about doing art for art's sake as opposed to tattooing. Like as a tattooer, I'm so much more of a perfectionist, and I really love that in my own art, I can really embrace that chaotic, like, nah, that didn't really work, but whatever, it's not on somebody's body for life.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you just end up making something that you just didn't expect to, and you really like it, and then you try to incorporate that into like the next few pieces that you do. I find myself doing that all the time.
100%.
I need to do that
100%.
more. I love that.
Happy
Bro,
accidents.
like
Yeah, it's a
I'm
real
late.
thing.
Oh, Sandy, that's come along since you started it.
No, thank you. Yeah, it ended up being, it was going to be mushrooms in the back, and then somebody said the year of the snake, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm feeling that. But you can
Nice.
feel like it's very strange, the shininess.
Yeah.
I have to try and leave some stuff open on this space because it does kind of disappear a little. So I'm trying to make sure it's not all disappearing. Otherwise, I should have just used a different canvas, but it's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
it works. It's definitely different than a regular canvas. Soaks in a little strange, but
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, thank you. Oh, yeah, I hadn't looked up, and yours is also just like filled out a bunch too.
A little bit.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah. There's such a cool range going on here. Sean, that's crazy. What medium is that?
I'm sorry, what was your question?
What medium are you working in, dude?
So I use oil pens or oil markers to do my underpainting.
Oh,
I just like
cool.
the precision of the marker. And then I go and I glaze over this just over and over in successive layers to do color.
That's cool.
That is gorgeous.
What's your substrate? What surface are you working on?
This is just canvas, though. I really love clapboard. I
Yeah.
just don't have any on hand right now because I'm a grad student and I don't have any money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, clapboard's my jam.
It's really smooth, right? Clayboard, it's got a smooth texture, or
Forgiving.
why do you like it?
You can sand it and get some really interesting effects that you can't really get on something like canvas. You can get some really subtle, weird interplays between layers if you do that.
Oh, that's cool. It's interesting. I'll have to try that sometime. I used to draw color pencils on Clayboard, and I really enjoyed that because it was like gliding. The pencil would just glide across it.
It's really smooth, yeah. And it's also like really forgiving. Like you can take a wet, dry erase, those eraser things, and put it under a sink if it's like acrylic and take it off really easy.
Oh, I'll have to get back to that. It's been years since I've used anything like that. How is it to paint on? Like, is it too smooth? Is it like painting on porcelain?
I like it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's like vellum-ish or
Yeah, vellum.
a hardboard.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I've been doing scratch board lately. It's really fun.
Yeah. We hosted a scratchboard collective. I
That
don't know
was
how
so
long
much
ago.
fun.
Yeah, and everyone's piece turned out so good.
Yeah, there were some really cool ones. I think I was staying in Marion at that point, and I was going to the mail with Guy, and there were pieces coming in like every day.
Oh,
And
wow.
you guys were opening them, and it was really cool to watch them all happen.
It felt like Christmas when we get a new piece.
Yeah, there was like every day there'd be like 2 or 3 in the mailbox.
Out of all the books we did, that was like one of my favorites
Yeah.
that we did because it's still such a beautiful collection of work, and it's a nice size.
It's aged really well.
Yeah, it has aged well. It's not dated looking. It's true, it has. We just have a few left if anyone's interested. They're cheap. They're really cool. Should post about them sometime, Guy.
Yeah, and one day in the future we may do 111 books, and the nice thing about that is now we could lay out something just for a show if we thought it was a spectacular show, and just make them print on demand at Amazon or whatever, and so we don't have to take this huge financial risk of printing thousands of them, and so that allows us to make more book titles if we choose to.
Man, that's cool. A whole new world.
Yeah, because it's so expensive otherwise.
But definitely, it's a lot of fun though to be able to do the big group projects. Like Interstate and Scratch Art, and I'm sure we'll end up doing some kind of fun group projects through 111.
Oh, I'm sure. This is one of them.
Yeah.
And John, you were at Interstate too, weren't you? I remember that you think you
that
were.
was the show in California.
No, Interstate was at Hell City at the tattoo
Oh,
convention.
yes, definitely.
That was super fun. We turned
That
that
was.
tattoo convention into a cosmic spaceship rave.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I totally remember that. That was fun.
Someone said, yeah, it was really memorable.
You sweet little girl. You sweet little girl. Hi.
Has everybody else pretty much signed off, or I'm not looking at the screen?
I'm still here.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So many people stuck around. That's nice.
Yeah.
There's so much cool art going on, man. It's hard not to.
Yeah.
I wish that I could see more of it. I can only see it all sideways on the back of my phone, which is I gotta look at through the my camera holder, my phone holder thing. So it's really kind of hard to see everything.
I'm hoping to catch it all later. So I hope everyone who's still in this Zoom meeting posts their work, even if you're not finished with it, so we can really see what you've done. And I'd love to, repost it, include it in a reel, and use it to represent our day to day. So please don't forget to tag us.
Heard.
Because I haven't really had a chance to see what anyone's doing either.
Yeah, well, some of you folks have been very quiet, and so you're like if you put on the view where you're just seeing a whole screen, which is what I've been doing, so I can really get a look at people's art. The people that talk the most, their pieces pop up the most.
Oh, that's how it works.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just love seeing all the different styles that everybody's doing.
Yeah, everything you can imagine. I love it.
You got a ZBrush sculpting. You got someone's doing ballpoint pen.
I haven't done oils in a while, and I'm just like, oh yeah, it's all over my hands.
It's a little mess. It can be a little messy, oils.
Yes.
You get used to it though, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just gotta keep doing it again, and then I'll.
Yeah.
I won't make so much of a mess.
My hands are always a mess when I'm done. I use my fingers a lot to soften brush strokes.
Oh,
Nothing does it. I let it kind of just get a little tacky and then start tapping my fingers all over it, and it really softens up some of the brush strokes and pushes it back.
Oh, interesting.
I would think that would create fingerprints somehow, but
if you just keep tapping lightly, it doesn't really leave much fingerprints. But if you tap on them too soon, you'll leave fingerprints. I use liquid, so it gets tacky pretty quickly.
Oh, right.
So speaking of fingerprints and oil paint, the first time I ever used oil paint, I was a teenager. I had been given oil paint by my grandpa, and I was in a hotel room, and I decided that I wanted to oil paint. And I went outside to paint like the hotel and like a plein air, but then I realized I'm like, wait, how do I clean my brush? I don't know how to clean my brush, and it was all over my hands. It was all over the brushes, and I left blue oil paint fingerprints all the way back to my hotel room.
Oh my god.
In my mind, I'd be like, it's a rental, thank God. You know, it's a house. It's a hotel.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I remember waking up one morning when I was living with my mom, and she's an oil painter, and there was blue paw prints everywhere.
Oh.
And we were like, oh no. And so we had to find the culprit, and it was our little cat Punk, and she's like this perfect little princess, super fluffy, and she just had blue all over her paws, on her chest, and we had to
No.
try and get mineral spirits on some of it and snip off the rest. And
I had that happen a few times. One of my cats was obsessed with paint. He actually one time ate a bunch of black off of my palette. Thank God it was
Oh,
black.
wow.
Black is basically
Thank
inert. It
you
doesn't do
for
anything.
letting me join. My kids are home.
Oh, yes. Thank you for
Head
joining.
out.
See you next time.
So
Bye-bye.
happy to make it.
Thank you. Can't wait for another time.
And please tag us with what you created so we can take a better look.
In the interest of posterity, I'll pass this along because the whole animals encountering oil paint thing came up. Gunnar actually solved it, and it kind of refers to why Dawn has that little duckling on it. Use Dawn dish soap. You can get it off of your animals without having to resort to anything, because that's what they use to mitigate oil spills.
You're right.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I use to clean my brushes.
Yeah. It's softer.
there you go.
Yep.
And then I leave a little bit of the soap in the brush and shape it back to a nice, sharp, crisp point again.
There
And
you go.
the next day, they're like brand new still.
Wow.
I don't know if this is a trick or not, but I've washed my brushes with Murphy's oil soap before, and it's done a really good job too.
Oh, yeah, that's probably really good
That
too.
one's a good one.
Yes, that does it. Here's a few. Let's see.
Guys, unfortunately, I did take.
I see that you're obsessed. So do you want to talk about this?
Michelle, Guy, everyone here, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank
It was
you
so
for
great
joining
to
us.
Yeah.
Don't
thanks for
forget
joining us.
please post your piece.
We will. It's been
Thank
very
you.
inspiring, and it's so everyone's pieces, and thank you guys for doing this. This has been a great way to spend the day, and find that making art with others always feels more productive to me. So thank you all very much, and I wish you all the best in creativity for the rest of your day.
Likewise. Bye.
Hey.
Thank you. Same to you. Bye-bye.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Nice words.
Yeah, I'm gonna get off here and eat some food. So yeah, thank you guys for doing
Okay,
this.
girl.
Everyone's art looks awesome.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yours does too. Thanks for being
Hey,
here.
Guy.
Thank you, man.
Yep. Also got to hop off and get ready for a wedding. But thanks so much for having me, guys.
Great
you for
party.
joining.
Thanks for putting your energy here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Blessings on your shop and moving forward. I'm so stoked for all the events and things to come.
To the happy couple.
Thank you.
Yes. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I think I'll get off too now that the Alabama snow is thawed and I can leave my house.
Oh.
I'm going to leave
Yeah,
now.
that's fantastic.
I have a looming deadline and I
Okay.
book.
Yeah, I gotta hop on that stuff too. Everyone,
Okay.
thank you so much.
I'm gonna go too.
Great
Bye,
party.
everybody.
All
Thank
right,
you guys.
bye, everyone.
Don't forget
God
to
bless.
tag and post, please.
I will.
We will. We will.
I'm bummed I didn't get to see you guys this
Oh, AC,
weekend.
nice to see you. As brief as it was. We'll have to chat another time.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
nice meeting everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.